Okay, our guest speaker today was the winner of the Entrepreneur of the Year Award in 2014. This young man, who I think is one of the better students we've ever had in this program, showed me his commitment to the program, so much so that I felt that I had to introduce him to one of our guest speakers that he really wanted to meet, a fellow named Anthony Scaramucci, who runs the Skybridge Hedge Funds, who was a guest lecturer in this class, who actually is on the school website, so you can take a look and see what Anthony Scaramucci. He's also the host of Wall Street Week, which is on Fox Business every Saturday morning. So without any further ado, I'd like to introduce you to Jerome Hayden.
First of all, that was a really cool speaker, man. I like that thing with the water kick. So that was pretty cool. But thanks so much for allowing me to come here and speak to you guys today. It's truly an honor. I was actually sitting in that seat 2 years ago, just listening to the different speakers that come throughout the class, and you really get inspired by the amount of creativity that's out there. And the main thing about business is that once you're confident and once you have the right opportunity set out there, you can really, make a lot of money trying to solve the world's problems. So I'm going to go through my background, how I got to where I am now, and if you have any questions for me, I'd love to make it interactive and help out any way I can. So I started school here in 2011. I played on the basketball team for 2 years, and once I got to my second year, it might have been after I got dunked on in practice, I realized I wasn't going to go to the NBA. I need to find out what I'm going to do after school for myself to make a living, hopefully someday run my own business and provide for my family. So I started really, checking out different resources, using the Magnet Center. I know some people say they aren't that helpful, but literally, if you can find one person that's willing to talk to and willing to encourage you, that can really, take you a long way. So they told me there was one of those seminars during common hours that Ted was going to speak about the entrepreneurship program, and I should check it out. So I went. I really loved what he had to say. It gave me a lot of confidence that even though I didn't have a great idea at the time to try and make money, all it takes is to just listen to various people's experiences, and hopefully that can help mold you and take you far along in life. So I enrolled in the program, I was luckily accepted, and on the weekends I used to go through the videos and see previous speakers that come in, and he really gets some really powerful and dynamic influencers in the world to come in and speak. And when I saw Anthony's presentation, and I was like, wow, how do I get into finance? How do I get into hedge funds? And how many people out here think that you have a business that you can run either right now or right after college? Anybody? Cool. What business do you have in mind?
I presented it earlier this semester. It's an application based on shipping.
Cool. Yeah. So,
I sell heavy-duty office equipment.
Heavy-duty office equipment?
Yeah, printers, copiers, faxers, shredders.
And you're doing that now?
Yeah.
Nice. So, the one thing that I was, concerned about in the class is that, after school, how can I run a business? I can't run a business if I don't have the foundation. One of the most common things that hurt entrepreneurs after they try and embark upon a certain endeavor is they don't have the economics right about the business to sustain themselves, or they just don't know how to influence it and move people to a certain destination. So I saw Anthony's presentation. I said I want to work for his firm because it sounds like it's an entrepreneurial firm. I get to see how a business is run from scratch and how he continues to build his network, because that is the most important thing in business, is to have that network that you can rely on. On TED, if there's a new play out there that's gonna win big, you don't even know. But as long as you have different ideas out there and you have the network that will call on you to say, hey, I have this idea, Jerome, I have this idea, I need some new toners, how do I get moving on it? Then that's what's really gonna take you to that next level and maintaining those relationships. So I started working for Skybridge last year in the fall, and I interned while coming to school full time. And you start off very small. I mean, I started off doing all of the manual labor, running to go get coffees, dropping off FedEx packages. And then what you start to realize is that, once you are faithful and once you have a great attitude and do the small things with a smile on your face, they start to give you more responsibility, right? So after you get more responsibility, then you really start to engross yourself into the atmosphere, and people really start to trust you and say, okay, this is the person that I want to invest in. Because if I ask you to go get me a coffee, you can either tell me to shut up or go do it yourself, or you can do it with a smile on your face and say, I'm glad to, here's your change, sir. So when somebody sees that you have the great attitude and they can invest in you, that's what that's essentially how you can move forward in terms of either working under somebody and working your way up a firm, or you can build your business and then encourage people to help you get to your destination. So as soon as the spring semester started of my senior year, Anthony called me into his office. He said, Jerome, he had Scott Walker in his office, one of the guys in the political scene. He said, I'm going to give this kid an offer once he graduates school. He's a great worker. He does everything with a smile on his face. And this is the kind of people we want at Skybridge. So there's two myths about finance or even in business, is that you have to come out of school knowing exactly what they do or know exactly about the industry that you're working in. If they see that you have a great attitude, they're willing to teach, right? So as long as you ask the right questions, you do your own due diligence outside of work or outside of school, then you get to, people will help you get to understand what it is you're doing. Two is that you have to have a high GPA, right? So I came into school, I was caring about basketball the whole time. I used to go to the rec center throughout the day. I did go to class, but I was a solid B student my first 2 years. And then, towards the end of my college experience, I'm like, man, I gotta compete with guys coming from Harvard. I gotta compete with guys coming from MIT. I gotta get this GPA up. But what I realized is that, even though you may not have the 3.9, the 4s to compete with some of the most, intelligent people out there, it's like, if you have that right attitude and you have the right mindset, and the guy said if you're completely persistent about what you're doing, then it levels the playing field and you're really able to, stay on that same level as everybody else out there in the world. So don't be discouraged wherever you come from. There's tons of resources at Brooklyn College, guys like Ted, guys like Marty Sass, that are willing to connect you with the right people out there, that are willing to help you start your business, but just have the great attitude. Really stay connected with the guys that support you, and don't forget about them wherever it is you go, right? I'm at the firm now full time. I manage the whole, I don't manage, I help run the Northeast and Southeast territory from a sales and distribution standpoint. And I have 5,000 clients under my arms, and right now I'm just trying to learn each and every way I can, build my network, and that's where I'm at today. So if anybody has any questions, whether it's about school, whether it's about finance, whether it's about ideas in regards to entrepreneurship, happy to discuss.
Come on, we have to have some questions for Jerome.
Yeah, okay, good.
Yeah, what other resources would you recommend aside from the Magna Center and Target Professors?
There's tons of networking opportunities out there, right? So if you Google networking events, they'll give you a stream of certain activities, especially in New York City. There's always something going on, whether it's actually, let me go back. The Magna Center will connect you with networking events, right? So they have these conferences and these seminars that take place all throughout in any given industry. And once you get word of what's going on out there, and once you have a Google search going, attend as many events as you can, right? And it doesn't matter if you're interested in that industry or not. Maybe somebody else that's going is connected to another industry that you may be interested in. So I'd advise really, finding any networking opportunities that are out there, and just showing your face. If you stay home and sit behind a computer, don't meet people, then it's not going to help you forge relationships that'll take you there. So, yep.
I have a follow-up question with that. What should you bring with you on these networking events?
Right, so you always want to be prepared, right? I mean, I think there are certain websites out there that help you build your own business card, and it's really not expensive. Like a person like you that is interested in music and it's extremely competitive, it's all about having your name out there, right? So as long as you carry a stack of business cards, you do it all times with your email, with your logo, and people see that logo and can connect to you, then that'll help you, you know, get your name out there and network and all the things like as well.
Professor said that you work for Fox, or?
Oh no, my Anthony has a show that's run on Fox.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
got it. I thought, okay, sorry.
No, I don't. I would have shown you. Actually, I've seen you around campus before too. So
Me?
yeah, it's great.
Oh.
It's great to see some
Yeah,
familiar
I think I
faces.
recognize you
Yeah.
too.
Cool. Anybody else? And oh, and by the way, we actually use a ton of toner out there. So I'm actually one of the guys that changes the toner whenever I see it's low. We do have the larger printers, but the small printer, I was changing that yesterday. Cool, man.
Very good. So,
Yeah.
Jerome.